Hey, my name is Mike, and this is a too long didn't read guide for Gul'dan, the last remnant of Warlords of Draenor on normal and heroic. In phase 1 and 2, everyone gets an extra action button. The DPS have a 10-second mini bloodlust / heroism and also a speed increase. This is on a 55-second cooldown, and if you take any fire damage, it'll cancel the effect. On a half-minute cooldown, healers can spawn this bubble that soaks a bunch of fire damage, and tanks get a 6-second immunity that's on a couple-minute cooldown. To start the fight, Gul'dan is attackable for a bit and then becomes immune in a bubble. When he's in this bubble, he'll shoot liquid hellfire on a random person that deals less damage the further away you are. You want to make sure to pop raid-wide defensives and some healer bubbles for this. Don't stand in the direction he's facing during Valley Flux. This purple shadow zone spawns an ad, don't stand in it. The first ad that you want to kill is the Inquisitor because he spawns these beams that you want to move away from. He puts a 21-second dispellable dot on someone called Drain. Every time this ticks, it'll heal him. He also teleports around the room randomly. The next guy you want to kill is Fellord. Tanks, make sure to use your immunity for Shatter Essence or else you'll die. Do not stand in these green swirlies. Disorgzigzis spawns a cage and that'll pull you in. If you're too close to the center, it'll put a stacking dot on you. When all three ads die, stand close to his bubble for the knockback, and that's when phase 2 will start. In phase 2, Bonds of Fel will go on random people, including one tank. You're slow when you have this, and you want to have people stack up in your circle to split the damage this deals. To break this, just run outside of the dotted red circle that only you can see. At 85%, this ability becomes empowered. It'll now knock you back before slowing you, and it does more damage. You can immune these bonds, and tanks can use their immunity button for this. In phase 2, Liquid Hellfire will continue to happen. Try to stay relatively stacked. At 70%, this becomes empowered, and it will spawn a green pool where it lands. On heroic, an ad will continue to spawn out of the purple shadows, just interrupt its carrion wave ability. A group of eyes will spawn that deal more damage the longer they're alive. They hit random people and anyone within 8 yards of that person. At full energy, these duplicate. As the phase goes on, abilities will start to overlap, but the eyes are always your #1 priority. At 55%, only one eye will start to spawn, but it does more damage. If needed, you can also use defenses for the eyes. Only tanks should be standing in front of the boss, and they should be spread out 2 yards. If someone stands within 2 yards of the main tank, Fel Scythe will happen. This does more damage the more energy Gul'dan has. And every time this happens, he will put a 10-second stacking buff on him that increases the damage this does. Ideally, after the buff has faded, tanks just want to stack up for a second to make Fel Scythe happen. This way his energy never gets too high. At 40%, phase 3 will start. The empowered eye and Fel Scythe will continue to happen. Flames of Sargeras will spawn pools underneath you, so run away. Random people get their soul siphoned, and that soul goes to the center of the room. That player gets a 30-second healing absorption on them. Standing in the center for 3 seconds removes 1 soul and gives you a 3-minute stacking dot. Make sure all the souls are removed before Black Harvest, because this is a raid-wide AoE that does more damage per soul in the center. Run away when Gul'dan does Storm of the Destroyer. This starts small but gets bigger 3 times, and it takes up about half the platform. You can just rotate the boss around the room as needed. You can pop offensive cooldowns on pull if this fight takes longer than 10 minutes. Otherwise, you can just save them for the phase 3 push. The DPS button ideally can be saved for the eyes to make them die quicker. That was a too long didn't read guide for the end of Warlords of Draenor on normal and heroic. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a spectacular day.